Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Transparent Tuesday. I am your host, author Francis Dupree, and it looks like again I'm going to have to tag everybody. So just give me a moment while I'm tagging everybody. Again, I do apologize. I have no idea what's going on with Facebook. Anyways, I hope that everyone's creative juices are flowing during this pandemic. If I do not tag you, again, I apologize. I'm going to have to find another platform, another resource to start doing my lives on, because I set all of this up and have everything ready to go. And then I get on here and it's not working the right way. And I don't like to have to do my tagging while I'm live. I'd like to just straight talk to you guys instead of having to go through this. So again, I apologize for this. Okay, so I just tagged a few people. If I didn't tag you, my apologies again. I promise by next week I'm going to have this figured out. So this isn't something that I have to keep doing, because it's not professional, and I try to do everything with excellence. Okay, so God is opening some amazing doors, and I'd like you guys to go to my website, www.gods-will WILL-ministries MINISTRIES.com, and check out the events section, because I will be updating everything on my website. If you have not already gotten your copy of Marrying Outside of God's Will, make sure you go to Amazon. You can get that as an ebook, or you can get the paperback. If it's not for you, then maybe you can gift the book to somebody else. So make sure you guys get your copy. And like I said, if it's not for you, then give somebody else with the copy of the book. And if you're interested in getting a copy, autographed copy, then you can reach out to me, inbox me. The cost is $25, and I will have a autographed copy sent out to you right away. So tonight I want to discuss, who are you? That is something that it's a topic that I think it's important to talk about. So, of course, I always do research and stuff. And Acts 19:15 says, "One day the evil spirits answered them, 'Jesus I know, and Paul I know about, but who are you?'" So, okay, God, I want you to get the glory out of all of this. Amen. Who are you? Sometimes we lose sight of who we are in certain situations or things that we go through in life. We have a vision, we have a dream. It usually starts when we're younger, and that's our goal in life. But as we get older and things happen in life, different events happens, we start to lose sight of who we are. We start to lose the motivation or the drive, the driving force. For example, myself. My ultimate goal has always been to be an attorney. I graduated high school in 2005. It is here now, 2020, and I am finishing up my bachelor's. In the process of going through life, of growing up, going through trials, going through tribulations, just living, learning me, I lost sight of my vision. I lost sight of my dream, which was to be an attorney. And I stopped going to school for a while. I did not believe that I was good enough because of my past mistakes, and the things that I've done in life, that I could still be an attorney. The whole point, my whole goal was to be a voice for those that weren't able to speak for themselves. It's so many people sitting in jail right now that are innocent, but because they were not able to afford a personal attorney, they had to take a deal. They had to take whatever the public defender gave them. Whatever the district attorney gave them, The public defender presented them the deal. The district attorney made a deal, and they took it. And a lot of times that's because they don't have the finances to afford the attorney that they need or that they want. in order to represent them. That has always been my goal. That has always been my vision. But I lost who Frances was. I lost myself in life. I lost myself in my children. I had lost myself in my previous marriage. Like, I didn't know who Frances was anymore. People would ask me, who is Frances? And I did not know. And that's not a good thing. We are all individual people, and we have titles: a wife, a mother, a student, a friend, a sister. But that does not take away who you are as a person. That does not take away the vision that God gave you. The thing about God is he knows and he sees everything before we do. You know, he said that he formed us and before we were in our mother's womb. I believe that's how it said. Excuse me if I'm not saying the exact right way. But my point is that everyone is given a vision, a dream, a driving force for a reason, because we're qualified. Throughout our life, we get equipped, we get perfected to be who we are supposed to be, to that assignment, to complete it the way that it's supposed to be completed. But when you lose yourself, you lose the vision, you lose sight, and you start not seeing yourself the way that God does, then the question arises, who are you? And the thing is, when you're in the kingdom, you have to be strong. You have to know who you are, because the whole point is winning souls. And if you don't know who you are, how can you help the next person? I was listening to a speaking today by Lisa Nicholas, and she said something that really stood out to me. She said that, in the process of trying to perfect her craft, basically, she was trying to help everyone around her, but the door that God opened barely fit for her. So that stood out to me because I'm one that I always want those around me to succeed if I'm succeeding. But what she said really made sense. She had to go and perfect herself to come back and help those that she wanted to help. If your craft is not perfected, if you don't know who you are and you don't know what your goal is and where you're going, and you're grasping at straws, you're not going to be able to help the next person. You can't lose sight of that goal, of that vision. It was given to you for a reason. And when you lose the sight, it's like you're giving up on yourself in a way. And then you're giving up on God in a way, because he believes in you. He found you equipped. He believes that you're responsible, and that whatever is uniquely designed in you, you have what it takes to get the job done. But the only way you can do that is if you know who you are. Before coming to Christ, I'm sure nobody was a punk. So you can't be a punk now that you're in Christ. You have to. Back then, you know who you were. You didn't allow anybody to disrespect you or to call you something that you weren't. So now is the time to keep reminding yourself of who you are, and not to forget the vision, not to forget the drive, not to forget the dream, because God's never going to forget it. And I've been learning myself, there's no time limit on everything. I've been really hard on myself, because I feel like what I'm doing now, I should have done years ago. But it's not about my timing. It's all in God's perfect timing, because years ago, I probably wouldn't have appreciated, or years ago, I probably would have lost what I gained or what I worked so hard for. But now I'm in a space to where I'm able to appreciate these things. I'm able to know who Frances is. I'm able to know the vision, the dream, the motivation, why everything was necessary, why I had to go through what I had to, why I had to make my mistakes. That was the only way for me to get to where I'm at right now, to do what I need to do. So I just wanted to take the time to remind you guys, don't forget who you are. Of course, there's titles. Of course, you may be a mother, a father, a friend, a student, all of those things. But deep inside of you, individually, you're a person, and don't lose sight of that. Because when you do, it's something hard to get back. After my divorce, I had to learn who Frances was all over again. And it wasn't easy. I'm still learning who I am, but I have more of an idea now than I did before. I know my likes, I know my dislikes, I know my good qualities, my bad. I know all of these things, whereas before I didn't know. And that's not a good That's not a good place to be in. There's something special inside of you. There's a quality. There is a gift, and it was given to you specifically to use. So make sure that that gift, that light is shining bright. Don't get distracted by what's going on in the world. Don't get distracted by life. That's a good thing that the enemy uses as life happens, and then we get sidetracked and we forget and we lose ourselves. Don't lose yourself. Always remember who you are, why you are who you are, what you stand for, what your platform is, what your goal is, what's your place in the kingdom. Who you are is important. You matter. You're needed. Your testimony is needed. Your story is needed. Live it out because it's for you. No one else can do it for you. You have your name, your fingerprint, your footprint for a reason. So don't get distracted. Keep pushing, keep striving, keep perfecting that craft. I pray that you did not come out of the pandemic the same way that you went in. And just remember who you are. You guys have a good evening and see you next week for Transparent Tuesday.